Rosanne Thornley, singer-songwriter in Toronto. My new album, Sorry I'm Late, is out, and you are listening to Corby's Orbit on Radio Regent.
Sorry I'm Late took how many years to arrive?
You know what? Sorry I'm Late took a few years to arrive because it is basically the telling of my life to this point. But the funny thing about Sorry I'm Late is I didn't sit down to write it intentionally. The concept came in a conversation one day when I was in the kitchen and I was on my way to a meeting, and the person that arrived was going to make me late for the meeting. I was like, oh, I'm going to be late again. I should really just put in my email footer, sorry I'm late. And I thought, you know, that's not a bad name for the album, because I wasn't sure what I was going to call the album at that point. So now I had, well, I'm going to call it Sorry I'm Late. And that's when I wrote the song around it. And I sat at the piano, and I didn't mean to sit at the piano. I was walking by the piano into my studio. This is a lot of my Sorry I'm Late, because I get sidetracked at times. Definitely a shiny ball. And I stood at the piano, and I thought, oh, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to sit down because I'll never get away from here. I'm going to be late for all this. I sat down, and I started writing that song. And I just dove into the truth. It's the truth. You have to, I have to anyway. And when I'm working with people, same thing. I have to write the truth. And I wrote that song, and one of the lines in it is, it's 25 years, I know that saved me. That's really written about my daughter. And when I was writing that line, every time I get to that line, I'd start crying at the piano. I'd be going, oh, okay, come on, get it together, let's get past this line. And the chorus, or sorry, the bridge with the countdown of time, it really is how quickly things go by. It's all of a sudden, wow, there you are. And what's happened in your past.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, people have said, is it a sad song? It's not, it's a reflective song. And it really was written from my perspective of saying, cut me some slack. Yeah, I'm late, but geez, I've had a lot on the go. I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here now.
Had an obligation I had to keep, a conversation I couldn't leave, a ton to do so I didn't sleep, a lot of people I wanted to please. Had a pile of clothes I had to wash, had to raise the kid and walk the dog, grab the groceries and drop them off, had so much to do that I forgot. Sorry I'm late, but there's 1,000 things I had to do today, and another 1,000 things that I would love to chase, that have to wait. Sorry I'm late. Had a stack of bills I had to pay, at 25 years I know that saved me. Had a moment there where I kinda wanted, thought I had enough time, but it took longer. I got caught on another road and the clock didn't stop, and I got older. There were years there where I lost a page, had a lot of plans I couldn't change. Sorry I'm late, but there's 1,000 things I had to do today, and another 1,000 things that I would love to chase, that have to wait. Sorry I'm late. 22 turns 29, 31 turns 35, 41 and 43 run quickly into 50, and 51 meets 53, and right beside is 55, and 56 I can't believe when it's still right at 60. Sorry I'm late, but there's 1,000 things I had to do today, and another 1,000 things that I would love to chase, that have to wait. Sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late.
speaking to Rosanne Baker Thornley about the structure and construction of her most recent album, Sorry I'm Late. The production chores were split between family and friends?
The production, as far as the producer on it, was my son-in-law, Will Scholar, who, as I just mentioned, did a phenomenal job of producing it because he had the utmost respect for what the song called for. We weren't trying to follow the latest beat, or because it just wouldn't make sense for me.
How did the split go between home studio and Kensington Sound?
For the most part, Will was producing some of it here as far as guitar parts, because he had sort of a makeshift studio here during COVID. But because we're both here, we kind of traveled in our little bubble to the studio at Kensington, and most of it was recorded. I mean, it was recorded at Kensington Sound. For the most part.
And you had Vasey there. I heard you had Mark Kelso hanging around.
Yeah. Vasey engineered on a song called Barely so that Will could actually get behind the mic a bit easier instead of trying to be in the studio and in the control room at the same time. And yes, Mark played on my first album as well, Courage.
And there's a song called Look Up.
Look Up.
And I want to know about the harmony part on that.
The harmony part was my co-writer, Northeastern, who we wrote that song together. It was one of the first songs we wrote together. And I sort of took it on as my own song for this album. So he's singing harmonies on it. It's more or less sort of a duet.
How much of it was observation and how much of it was inspiration for that song?
Okay. With Look Up, my daughter was living in New York at one point, and she was studying at Alvin Ailey, a dance school there. And she would be at home at night and saying, you know, just a little lonely tonight and, you know, a little homesick at times. And I had said to her, go to the window, look out the window. See that moon? We're both looking at the same moon. So that's where the song started. That is truly where the song started, was with that notion. It's now tattooed on my arm. Look up.
We're going to listen to it on Corby's Orbit.
She was just a little girl with her fingers tightly curled around her daddy's every time he went away. And when the tears came pouring in, he'd take his hand and lift her chin. He'd smile into her eyes and then he'd say, look up, I'm gonna be back here real soon. Look up, we'll share that big old moon. It don't matter where we are, we'll always have those stars, and everything will be okay if you look up. She was barely 17, with a suitcase full of dreams. They were quiet on the drive to catch the train. It was hard to say goodbye. She'd never seen her daddy cry. She fell into his arms and heard him say, look up, you're gonna be back here real soon. Look up, we'll share that big old moon. It don't matter where we are, we'll always have those stars, and everything will be okay if you look up. Look up. All the years they went by fast, each one better than the last. And every moment, big and small, she really had it all. And she got the call. Black umbrellas in the rain, the teardrops on her face. She lifts her daughter's chin and says, look up, it's gonna be okay real soon. Look up, we'll share that big old moon. It don't matter where we are, we'll always have those stars, and everything will be okay if you. Everything will be okay if you. Oh, everything will be okay if you. Look up. Look up. Look up.
Hi, I'm Rosanne Baker Thornley, and you're listening to Corby's Orbit on Radio Regent. Used to be, I was more comfortable on stage actually than I was in real life, and now I love writing. I do love writing, and I do love the notion of performing, but I'm not driven by it as much as I was before, but I would like to do it.
But now that Bonnie Raitt has made the world safe for songwriters again, you're talking about a different lane. Is there a name for that lane? Like, who else is in that lane with you?
It's a depth that's there that I have a great appreciation for, and it's out there in so many writers, but it's not focused on as much as the other. So I think there's a lane over here that is not as popular, perhaps, or it doesn't have the same visibility for people to find it. I find that in the pop world, a lot of times there is a real rush to get things done, and there's not the same rush to make it as perfect as it could be or as deep as it could be, because there's a different emphasis on content. The world is very much about more, and it doesn't always mean it's better. It means that it's more.
I end up as a radio programmer wishing that I could cut the last minute off of a lot of songs that I end up playing all the way through these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say, with writing with people, sometimes I find that sometimes there seems to be a tolerance for good enough. I don't live in a good enough kind of world that's not my thinking. It's always, it's a good idea, but it could be great if we just spend a bit more time with it. And I don't know if people have the patience to work things through at times.
Okay, tell me about one more line.
One more line. It came from a place of books. I come from a world of books with my father. The private library with my father was 20,000 books. So, and he owned bookstores. And I love books. I love literature. And the notion of the book was the song One More Line was really around if I was a book. And it's sort of seductive in there as far as, talking about the book on, holding the book and everything. But again, there's a simplicity to the album. We haven't tried to fill the space. My vocals are very prominent, but it's really about creating room for people to be in that moment of the song.
If I was a book, you could turn my pages slowly, look at all the words that wait for you to hold me. And when your fingers touch my spine, they find the place where you left off last night. Every chapter of the story, we get lost in every line, and the part that means the most to us, we say out loud each time. And just before we both fall asleep, we read one more line underneath the covers and one more light rolls into another, and we don't ever want to close our eyes. One more light underneath the covers and one more light rolls into another, and we don't ever want to close our eyes. Just one more light. If I was a book, you could touch my edges softly, lay me on your chest, pull me right against your body, and when you've held me long enough, oh, I will just let go and open up. Every chapter of the story, we get lost in every line, and the part that means the most to us, we say out loud each time. And just before we both fall asleep, we read one more line underneath the covers, and one more line rolls into another, and we don't ever want to close our eyes. We read one more line underneath the covers, and one more line rolls into another, and we don't ever want to close our eyes. We don't ever want to close our eyes. We don't ever want to close our eyes. Just one more line. Just one more line.
Hi, I'm Rosanne Baker Thornley, singer-songwriter in Toronto. My new album, Sorry I'm Late, is out, and you are listening to Corby's Orbit on Radio Regent. When I'm writing songs with people, I use the analogy that, and this is more so for young artists that are wanting to write a song and have it produced and sort of be their first song. My analogy is that it's like running shoes. I'm not going to win the race for them, because the race of music is just bizarre. But I can help them find the right running shoes for the race, which is the song. And it will help move them forward. They still have to train, they still have to show up, they have to do the work, and the stars have to align, all these things. But at least I can help them with the right shoes, which is a strong song to be able to move forward with.
You're forgiven for being late.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us in the orbit.
Thank you for having me. Much enjoyed. Thank you.
We're out of here.